Hello and welcome to the data overview for the English Language Arts Department at Callaway Middle School. My name is Rebecca Ivy and I will be leading today's presentation. The purpose of this presentation is to review the demographic changes at Callaway Middle School over the past 3 years, to review the student achievement changes in English Language Arts on the Georgia Milestones Assessment over the past 3 years compared to the district, to continue ongoing data analysis to determine areas of improvement within the ELA classroom from the data presented, and to identify strengths and weaknesses in the current ELA instruction at Callaway Middle School. As I go through this presentation and we review the ELA data, I would like you to consider the following questions. Where are the current strengths for ELA instruction? Where are the current weaknesses for ELA instruction? What adjustments can teachers make to ensure all students are receiving the best ELA education? How can the ELA department use short-term data to effectively evaluate their progress? Are there any groups of students that are not succeeding in ELA? And what can ELA teachers do to help students move up a learner level on the Georgia Milestone Assessment? The first piece of information that I want to share with you is Callaway Middle School's College and Career Ready Performance Index score over the past 3 years as compared to Troup County in the state of Georgia. As you can see, Callaway Middle School's CCRPI score has been consistently lower than both the district and the state. In 2017, our CCRPI score was a 59.3. This number dropped to 53.6 in 2018 and rose again to 57.1 in 2019. Student enrollment at Callaway Middle School has drastically increased over the past 3 years. During the 2016-17 school year, our student population was 731 students. This number increased to 781 students during the 2017-18 school year and rose again to 818 students during the 2018-19 school year. Next, I have broken down our student enrollment by gender. Over the past 3 years, Callaway Middle School has consistently enrolled more male than female students. In the 2016-17 school year, we had 405 male students and 326 female students. In the 2017-18 school year, we had 421 male students and 360 female students. And during the 2018-19 school year, we had 446 male students and 372 female students. We have many unique populations at Callaway Middle School. One such group is our students with disabilities. As you can see, our population of students with disabilities has mirrored our population growth. As our population has increased, so has our number of students with disabilities. During the 2018-19 school year, we had 69 students with disabilities. These students are currently served through an individualized education plan or other special education service. Another unique population at Callaway Middle School is English language learners. In the 2016-17 school year, we had 18 ELL students. In the 2017-18 school year, we had 24 ELL students, and in the 2018-19 school year, we had 10 ELL students. As far as the socioeconomic status of our students is concerned, the majority of our students do qualify for free and reduced lunch. For the 2016-17 and 2017-18 school years, 62% of our students were considered economically disadvantaged, while 38% of our students were not considered economically disadvantaged. For the 2018-19 school year, these percentages changed slightly. 61% of our students were considered economically disadvantaged, while 39% of our students were not considered economically disadvantaged. This means that a large number of our students may not have access to the same resources, such as technology, that other more affluent families in our district have. We must keep this in mind as we continue to analyze the rest of our data. When it comes to diversity at Callaway Middle School, the breakdown of ethnicity has remained consistent over the past 3 years. In the 2018-19 school year, 1% of our students identified as Asian or Pacific Islander, 7% identified as Hispanic, 4% identified as multiracial, 36% identified as white, and 51% identified as Black. Over the past 3 years, these percentages have remained similar, with around half of our student population being Black or African American. Attendance has been an ongoing issue at Callaway Middle School due to family emergencies, illnesses, and the like. As our total student population has risen, so has the number of absences. Of 818 total students in the 2018-19 school year, 371 students missed 5 or fewer days. 346 students missed between 6 and 15 days of school, and 101 students missed more than 15 days of school. These numbers have remained fairly steady over the past 3 years, with just over 350 students missing only 5 or fewer days of school. Of course, these absences can and will affect our end-of-course assessment data. When we break down absences by gender, we cannot identify any trends over the past few years. During the 2018-19 school year, 47% of males missed 5 or fewer days, 41.3% missed between 6 and 15 days, and 11.6% missed more than 15 days. When we compare these numbers to our female students, we see that during the same school year, 43.6% of females missed 5 or fewer days, 43.6% missed between 6 and 15 days, and 12.8% missed more than 15 days of school. When we analyze attendance for students with disabilities, we can see that the majority of these students have missed between 6 and 15 days of school each year for the past 3 years. In the 2018-19 school year, 34.4% of students with disabilities missed 5 or fewer days, 39.9% missed between 6 and 15 days, and 29.7% missed more than 15 days of school. We must continue to monitor these students and their absences because they are missing vital instructional time. When we analyze attendance based on socioeconomic status, we can see that over the past 3 years, students in low SES homes tend to miss more days of school than students who are not economically advantaged. During the 2018-19 school year, 44.5% of low SES students missed between 6 and 15 days of school, compared to 35.2% of high SES students. During that same school year, 13.8% of low SES students missed more than 15 days of school, compared to 6.7% of high SES students. As far as student attendance by race and ethnicity is concerned, please keep in mind that the majority of our students are Black or African American. By default, we will have more Black students who miss 6 or more days of school than other groups of students. Over the past 3 years, the percentage of Black students who have missed 6 or more days of school has increased, while the percentage of white students has decreased. Generally speaking, our Asian students have the fewest absences. At Callaway Middle School, we have 70 total teachers, administrators, paraprofessionals, and other support personnel that work with our students. Of those 70 staff members, 18 are male and 52 are female. 37 of our staff members are Black, while 32 staff are white. There are no Hispanic, multiracial, Asian, or Native faculty members and are not representative of our student population. In regards to years of experience for our faculty and staff, 8 of our staff members are in their first year of teaching. 24 have between 1 and 10 years of experience, 18 have between 11 and 20 years of experience, 13 have between 21 and 30 years of experience, and 7 have more than 30 years of experience. When it comes to overall performance on the English Language Arts milestone, Troup County has outperformed Callaway Middle School for the past 2 years. In the 2016-17 school year, 31.4% of Callaway students scored proficient or distinguished, compared to 31.3% of Troup County students. In the 2017-18 school year, 26% of Callaway students scored proficient or distinguished, compared to 28.9% of Troup County students. In the 2018-19 school year, 20.1% of Callaway students scored proficient or distinguished, compared to 29% of Troup County students. Despite these numbers, the majority of students at Callaway Middle School and across Troup County are considered beginning or developing learners. When we analyze the 2018-19 ELA milestone data by gender, we can see that Troup County males outperform Callaway Middle School males. Only 16.3% of Callaway males scored proficient or distinguished compared to 24.2% of Troup County males. We can also see that Troup County females outperformed Callaway Middle School females. Only 24.7% of Callaway females scored proficient or distinguished on the ELA milestone compared to 32.3% of Troup County females. When I break down our ELA data by students with disabilities and students without disabilities, you can clearly see that our students without disabilities are outperforming our students with disabilities. During the 2018-19 school year, 8.2% of our students with disabilities scored proficient or higher compared to 27.9% of students without disabilities. These trends were similar across the district. While the percentage of students who scored proficient or higher on the ELA milestone increased during the 2018-19 school year, we still have a lot of work to do to ensure that all of our students with disabilities are proficient learners. When I break down our ELA milestone data by socioeconomic status, you can clearly see that our students from high SES homes are outperforming our students from low SES homes. During the 2018-19 school year, 15.8% of students from low SES homes scored proficient or higher compared to 34.7% of students from high SES homes. This trend is similar across Troup County. 20.6% of students from low SES homes scored proficient or higher compared to 49.4% of students from high SES homes. When I break down the milestone data by race and ethnicity, you can clearly see that our Asian students outperform our other groups. 31.3% of Asian students scored proficient or higher compared to 22.6% of Hispanic students, 17.2% of multiracial students, 25.9% of white students, and 15.6% of black students. Please note that 0% of Hispanic students scored in the distinguished category. It is also important to note that even though half of Callaway Middle School student population is black, that group had the lowest percentage of students scoring proficient or higher. Some of the strengths at Callaway Middle School are that our CCRPI score has increased after a one-year dip. We are also showing a consistent increase in enrollment, and we have a high number of faculty and staff with multiple years of experience. Some of our weaknesses include that our CCRPI score is consistently lower than the district and state. Our absences are increasing. The percentage of students achieving the proficient and distinguished levels on the milestone assessment is consistently lower than the district. The percentage of students achieving proficient and distinguished levels is decreasing while beginning and developing levels is increasing. And our black students are performing lower than every other race or ethnic group on the milestone. Some next steps that we should take are to 1. Review questions from the beginning of the presentation and discuss the possible answers. We need to discuss the possible causes for the low performing groups on the milestone, create an action plan to target the low performing groups on the milestone, and create an action plan to increase student attendance by reaching out to and monitoring the students more likely to miss school. Thank you.